The question for our generation of teachers is this: how do we prepare students to solve problems we currently don't know how to solve? I used to think that we taught the topics of the curriculum, and if we had time at the end, we could squeeze in some modern day issues. Now I think with a concept-based curriculum, we can easily use the topics of the curriculum to unlock modern day complex issues. Take, for example, the issue of cyber manipulations of political campaigns and elections. How can an interdisciplinary unit on World War II, basketball, and phishing scams prepare students to tackle this enormously complex problem? Start with an abstract conceptual question and use those specific contexts to illuminate the answer, such as, what is the relationship between invasion and falsifications? Students in PE class would study invasion games and fake-outs. In history class, students would learn about the Ghost Army that the Allied forces used to trick Germany during World War II. And in an IT class, students would come to learn that phishing emails use fake information to try to get personal data. All of these contexts would help students understand that falsifications create open spaces for attack during an invasion. A conceptual approach allows for interdisciplinary units that foster key insights into current issues.
We have our 4 concepts here. I want you to create a short sentence or a question that applies the knowledge from apartheid or the US civil rights to these categories.
Equally important is how we teach conceptual understanding. Inductive, constructivist, or inquiry-based approaches are all appropriate in that they're student-centered methodologies and allow students to discover the conceptual relationships for themselves. We can start with ways to hook students, such as transforming the classroom into a rainforest for a unit on ecosystems, or make each room represent different major religions for a unit on beliefs.
So for example, we did a beliefs unit, and the central idea was beliefs and values being inherited from the past, within Christianity. So I think we looked at baptism. We then moved out and looked at Hanukkah and explored that. Then the final concentric circle was we looked at Ramadan from the Muslim religion.
We can use specific strategies to help students make those relationships, such as a visible thinking routine of generate, sort, connect, and elaborate. This inductive approach to conceptual learning means the learning lasts.
Every time I taught this lesson previously, the students would not be able to retain the information I was hoping them to from one lesson to the next. But when I changed my teaching to conceptual based learning, the students were able to remember the relationships. I've asked my students a year later and they can still explain the conceptual relationship about the elements and the flame tests.
Why did the flames burn different colors?
Because of the electron structure of the atom. So if it has more valence electrons that jump to different shells where heat energy is added, when they come back to its original shell, it will emit different colors of light energy.
I think she challenged our thinking, teachers, whether the teachers had actually thought about concepts in this way. Concepts were just words to them. How did they make them come alive? And she actually made the teachers think, well, you actually need to bring these concepts alive. And the relationships between concepts was the big, light bulb moments. They don't work in isolation. They have to come together in the relationships.
Connect the 2 concepts of nationalism with independence.
Okay. The concepts have changed the way in which I analyze historical content. I now see beyond facts and dates and actually analyze the importance and the impact these events and this content had. Yeah.
So the idea of sort of conceptual learning is we get them to show their conceptual understanding within a known context, and then as we move out, if they can show that they have that conceptual understanding in a context that they've not experienced, we can actually assess if they have a depth of understanding within that conceptual idea.
In order to write a strong statement of conceptual relationship, we need to examine many contexts so that we deepen our understanding and expertise of the conceptual relationship.
Educators today seem to be faced with a choice. Keep teaching century-old ways of organizing the world through the traditional disciplines, such as mathematics and music, or throw them all out in favor of innovation and creativity. This is a false choice. Here's an important truth. Innovation requires a deep understanding of the fundamental and powerful concepts of the disciplines in order to be creative and to innovate. Innovators stand on the shoulders of past scientists and mathematicians in order to innovate. They don't invent without a deep understanding of how the world works. We should put real-world challenges in front of students that require them to improvise based on what humanity has already discovered. Concept-based curriculum and instruction is an essential first step in this important endeavor.